welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I painted along with Katie Jobling's How to Paint Sunflowers, and it was really easy and soothing, and if that's what you're looking for, then that's what you're going to get. So if you're looking to relax, sit back, and have a nice little painting session, this is the perfect painting for you. It was really easy and simple to follow along with, and if you have any trouble whatsoever, hopefully my tutorial will help you get past any points that you're confused about or you're having trouble with. My painting is a little different than hers, just slightly. I used different brushes because I didn't have her brushes, and I mixed up the colors just a little bit differently too. For the most part, I think it came out fairly well. I was very happy with the painting, and it did what I intended it to do, which was to relax and whatnot. So anywho, I hope you enjoy it, and remember to like and to subscribe to my channel. And so thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Hi everybody, it's Kenzy Knoxx, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be following along with Katie Jobling's video of sunflowers. So let's just jump on in and get started. So to begin off with, let's take a look at our palette. I have white, I have a medium yellow, I have a yellow ochre, a brown, a red oxide, a black, and an orange. And we'll also be needing a deep green later on, but don't worry about that for now. So she's just using two brushes, which include a large filbert brush and a medium-sized round brush. I'll be using a medium-sized filbert brush, which is probably size 6 or 8, and then a round brush, which is probably a size 4 or 6 maybe. She's using a size 12, and I'm not sure what size round brush she's using, but mine are browner, but it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever brushes you decide to use. So let's see. So now let's start in on these sunflowers. And so first now she's taking her raw umbers. So I don't have that color, so I'm going to mix my brown with a little bit of black and mix those two together to create a deep dark brown color. And these are going to be the center of our sunflowers. And so the first sunflower is going to be right around here in the smack dab center of our canvas, in the upper quadrant, upper quarter of our canvas. And we're just going to make a round little circle right here. And then once we're done with this circle, we're going to make our second sunflower circle, which is sort of facing outwards to the right. So we're going to kind of create a half looking circle. So sort of roundish on one side and less round on the other side, or less round on the inside of it. And then our third sunflower is going to be around the bottom third quadrant of our canvas. And we're just going to create the same size circle as our first circle. And these are our 3 sunflowers that we will be creating today. And then once you're happy with the shapes, you can fix them up, modify them a little bit if you'd want, but we'll be fixing these up later on, so don't worry about that too much. So go ahead and rinse out your brush, and we're going to pick up some yellow ochre, and now we're going to start in on our sunflower petals. She has a much larger filbert brush than mine, which might create a different shape. She basically puts her filbert brush sideways and lightly presses down on the canvas and then pushes harder to create a roundish petal-like shape. My filbert brush is obviously not creating the shape, which is not a problem. I'm just going to adjust how I am making my shape, which is simply by eventually starting on the inside and coming outward. So I'll be putting the most pressure towards the center of my flower and then lightening up with the pressure on the outside. And you can see me doing this in about 2 seconds. So I got my yellow ochre loaded on my brush, and I'm starting on the inside of the flower petal and working on my way out. And so I found it easier if I put pressure here and then let it up, and that created more of a petal shape for me. Either way is fine. Whatever works for you will work for you. This brush type just does not work for her type of method. So I'm going to continue around my entire sunflower, filling this round circle up with as many petals as possible. Try not to overlap them, but if you do, it's not a problem. We'll be going back over these petals with highlights and lowlights, and so don't give too much concern with your petal shapes. We will be able to reform them and fix them moving forward. So now that we're wrapping up with our first flower, we're going to be moving on to our second flower. And the petals around this area will be a lot smaller than the petals around the rest of the flower, because this flower is facing outwards and not towards us. So try to draw them in as if you were looking at them sideways, if that makes sense. so they're going to be shorter and sort of coming towards us. And then the rest of the petals will look like normal flower petals, and they'll be big and more like the flower petals on the first flower. And just keep continuing around this flower until you're satisfied with the number of petals that you have, or the layout of petals that you have created. And next we'll move on to our third sunflower, which will be exactly like our first sunflower because it is facing us. So this should be just easy peasy, just go on around creating the petals the same way you did on the first flower. As we finish up our third flower, we're just going to add in a few more petals in the sparser areas just to fill it up a little bit. Okay, excellent. Now that we're done with our flowers, I'm going to take the same filbert brush, and I'm going, actually a smaller filbert brush, and I'm going to go around and take this yellow shade of color, and I'm going to create semi-highlights on the petals individually. So at this point I realized that the yellow was not showing up on my canvas, so I decided to add a little white to the yellow to make it a more opaque color so that it would show up over the yellow ochre. And in doing this step, we will be creating a natural highlight to each of the petals of the sunflower so that it looks as though the sun is just kissing each and every little petal. And make sure that you're covering each of the same side of every petal too, because if you don't, then it might create a false sense of where the sunlight is and might confuse the viewer's eyes. So this is kind of important that you highlight the right side of the petals. And if they don't look right, or if you feel at this point your petals look funky and something's just not right, go ahead and fix them. And once you're finally done with the first sunflower, you feel that it looks good to you, go ahead and start highlighting the next sunflower, and we'll be continuing using this yellow and white color to highlight each and every petal of all three sunflowers. Now, taking that orange color that we have, I'm going to be filling in some of the spots between the inside of the sunflower and the petals themselves, just creating a little bit more depth and adding a little bit more color to our sunflowers. And I'll be doing this on each and every single one of them, all three of them. And although this orange may not seem like it's adding much to the sunflower, it really does create a difference when you look at it when the finished product is complete and you have a view of your sunflowers. You'll be so much happier with this orange shade, as it creates a shadow layer as well as adds just a tint more of that sunflowery color that we're looking for. If you notice, I'm skipping a small section of my second sunflower and moving on to my third flower, and that is because the paint is still wet and I was having trouble highlighting it. This problem may or may not be an issue for you, but if it is, just let it dry before adding the orange and then go back and add the highlights and or lowlights. It's not a problem at all. You can use a hairdryer too if you feel that you wish to do this flower first before doing your third. Now, taking a mixture of the yellow ochre and a little bit of the orange, I'm going to make this little circle shape in the inside of my sunflower, which is actually going to be a reflection. And now, going back with that dark brown color that we originally started with, I'm going to go back in and tap around and create a layer, another layer of that color in my sunflower, just fixing up a little bit of the shape of the reflection, just so that, you know, we get that darker outer layer and inside there as well. Adding these color variations will create a more realistic look to your sunflowers. And I know that we're not making an actual realistic painting of our sunflower, but we want it to look semi-realistic. And now going back over my sunflower petals with a little bit of yellow, I'm just adding another layer of color so that they really pop out on the canvas. You don't have to do this, but if you don't, then your sunflower may look a little bland, or the color might not pop out as much as you would like it to. Over time, acrylic paint fades, and so if you add another layer of acrylic, the painting will last a lot longer and it'll remain brighter for a longer period of time as well. And after letting my painting dry, you can quite see the difference in colors with the highlights and the lowlights. But now we're adding the stem to the sunflowers, and they're kind of thick stems, and we're using a dark green color, and we're adding some stems and some leaves to these sunflowers, and they're just going to look just gorgeous, and you can already see how gorgeous they're coming out. And make sure your green color is a slightly marshy color. You can use any green color you'd want to use. Mine is more of a marsh green color, just to go with the yellow ochre color. And now I'm just adding just a few little leaves to the stems of these sunflowers, just to add a little something. And you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it looks really nice. And just remember that the stem of a sunflower is very thick because it needs to be sturdy to hold up these tall sunflowers. And to make sure this green color really stands out and holds its color, I'm just going over the stem several times to create several layers of thick color so that the acrylic paint remains vibrant and bright. And now taking that dark brown color that we started off with for the middle of our sunflowers, I'm just creating another layer just so that it's really dark and that the color just really makes the sunflower pop, and that reflection or glare in the center of our sunflower stands out more. And layers are really important with acrylic paints. You really don't want to just have one layer of paint on your painting. Even 2 layers is a little light. 3 layers is probably perfect, but sometimes it's a little much, but it still adds just a little bit of something. So now I'm just going around touching up the orange color too, because I really want that to remain bright and vibrant. And you know, if you don't do a couple layers in, it might just fade and blend into the yellow color of the flower, and we don't want that. And once you've done your painting, take a step back and really look at it and think if you're really pleased with your painting. And if you're not, then go ahead and do any touch-up work that you think needs done. And if you notice, I'm adding another layer of yellow to each one and every single one of my petals, and that's because I really want this flower to stand out, and I want that yellow color to last a while, and I want it to, again, I always use this word, but I want it to pop off my canvas and to really stand out. And so I'm just going over every single one just really quickly, just adding another little bit of yellow to my flower, and this really will make a difference. And once you're done with any touch-up work that you believe needed to be complete, you're now done your painting. And I hope you enjoyed this painting tutorial as much as I did. It was able to allow me to relax and just do my own thing and, you know, have some peace of mind. And that's all I wanted for you too. So if you like this video, remember to like it below by clicking the thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye!